Welcome to UC Bearcats on the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network, brought to you by MyBookie AG. That's right, MyBookie AG, where you can bet on pro, college, and all kinds of other great sports. So without further ado, Mark, what have the Bearcats been up to?
Well, the Crosstown Shootout, and it didn't go the way we had expected when we talked with Eric. You know, we figured that the Bearcats' depth would help them run Xavier around a little bit and, you know, bring out a victory, but that wasn't the case. Bearcats lost by 13, you know, and that's pretty much what the deficit was all game. You know, they had that one stretch where Xavier didn't score for like 3 or 4 minutes, and you see had a chance to get it within 10, and they never could, you know. So it was disappointing to say the least, because I thought, and you know, and the way Eric talked and you know, that this was going to be a UC win, and because of their depth and their athleticism, and it just didn't show that way. You know, it was J.P. McCure and Trayvon Blewett just were a little bit too much to handle, and then they had that Cantor kid off the bench who helped out. But
been great. Yeah, he scored another 20 tonight. He's a top notch. I mean, he's Enos's younger brother, and he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, he's a transfer, I believe, wasn't he?
He's a graduate.
Transfer. Yeah. So, you know.
That's the sad thing. I'm like, I know I saw them play. I think I saw them play Northern or Xavier, one of the two, and they were green. I would say like East Michigan or one of those type of teams. But he was a solid player on them, and he's been doing great, you know, for Xavier. But, yeah, just looking at the numbers, the breakdown just baffled me. I mean, because, like you said, it was kind of star-heavy, and then everybody else just really didn't do much. I mean, like with UC, Jacob Evans had a great game. Kane had a great game, so the guards were doing fine. Cumberland did fine. Clark, you know, did okay. But after that, everybody fell off the table. No Justin Jennifer, no Trey Scott, Kyle Washington. I'm still looking at him going, was he injured? But even then, he would play 14 minutes. How did he not score? Yeah.
It was frustrating, you know, because Kyle Washington, to me, has been a bit of an enigma. You know, he can be great. I mean, he can run a game, but he disappeared, man. He flat out disappeared. And I didn't get to watch a lot of the game. I was at Reds Fest tracking it on my phone, and you know, and texting with my brother, and just it seemed like nothing that the Bearcats did worked, and you know, and I'm getting to the point where I think Mac knows how to play him. You know, he knows what to do, and he knows how to get, you know, his kids ready for the game, and the UC kids just aren't there, you know. So, you know, I mean, it's one game in a long season, but it was disappointing because of how much progress it looked like the team had made over the first 7 games, you know, and it just wasn't there. It just was not there. The energy wasn't there. I don't know. It was just frustrating. And then you had the whole thing after the game with J.P. McCure and Mick, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So, you know, it was just frustrating. It was just a frustrating game.
Yeah, I agree with you. The game, I mean, it just baffles you. Because like you said, or like we said, you know, last week with Eric, I mean, the depth on this team, the talent level is there. But, yeah, they're just, I mean, yeah, because I've seen, you know, starts with Keith Williams. You know, I know he's early on and all, but he's done some great things. He only played 2 minutes. But, yeah, the main thing, like you said, was Washington just disappearing. And he's got such talent. I mean, he's one of those guys that last year when you watched him play, you're like, yeah, he's going to make an NBA team. You know, he might not be a first, you know, lottery pick or anything like that, but he's got the ability. He's going to play. And same thing, I've heard people say that about Clark. You know, and Clark had an okay game. Tremblin's, you know, still young, but he still contributed a good amount. Kane Broom, you know, who's new to the rivalry, he showed up, and, Jacob Evans is one of those guys that a lot of people said needed to step up for this game because, that intangible player. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. It's just, it was, Trayvon blew it again, and he was the one who last year had, 37?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that first half. I was going to say, I always remember this because I thought it was so cool because I was standing next to Ken Brew, which, I ain't going to lie, I got a little starstruck. I'm like, ooh, hey, I made it. I'm standing next to the real news guy. And, so I was standing there, and he's like, I could guard him just as well in the second half. And I'm like, wow. Just hearing, one of the actual, big-time journalists say that because he was right. That first half, nobody could guard Trayvon. I mean, it was ridiculous. And it looks like it was another game like that. Like I said, Karam is just a great all-around player. I mean, there isn't much he doesn't do well. Like, he is, like baseball terms, that five-tool guy. Because I don't think anything he does overly sticks out to me, but he has such overall ability that, he's got a great thing going.
Yeah, and he's the Grayson Allen of Xavier. He's good, but everybody hates him.
Exactly.
He's
and then JP really didn't even do anything in the game. I mean, looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 of 10, 1 of 5, 3 assists. I mean, 2 steals, I guess, and 2 steals, but he definitely didn't have much to crow about.
No, but he got under Mick's skin. I mean, he basically caused Mick to get that technical, by chirping at him, and then the whole post-game stuff, which is just a joke. So,
it
is what it is.
Sad thing is we almost lost this game a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
so I'm glad we didn't because, it might not have been the game we wanted. It might not have ended up, with the result we wanted, but, anytime you can have 2 major programs playing, it's a good thing.
Well, you got 2 top 25 programs in the same city.
Yeah,
it's great for Cincinnati. So, it's just that's Xavier treats it as a bigger game than I think UC does.
Very true. Yeah, I do have that feeling to it, where Xavier has got it marked on their calendar. They're like, that's it, we're going to get them. And UC, unfortunately, they care, but I don't know, it's just something about it. And the crazy part about it is Xavier had such a tough week that week because they also had Baylor.
Yeah.
And Baylor beat them last year. So they're, like, when I was at the game, the Xavier game tonight, that was their big thing with Sean O'Mara in the post-game, that he was like, you know what, we're going through and we're taking out all those teams that beat us last year. We're getting our revenge. So with Wisconsin, with Baylor, with UC, that kind of thing. They got Colorado on Saturday, so they're hopefully going to be able to get rid, to revenge all their losses from last year. But, it's been rough for UC with that, the rivalry.
Yeah, 8 of the last 11 Xavier's won, and I think I saw something where, like, the last 10 Crosstown Shootouts, Xavier's hitting like 70% from three-point land. They come in dialed in and ready to go.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next year they'll be back at Fifth Third Arena, and they'll be able to change things.
Yep, exactly. Now that the Crosstown Shootout's over, no rest. They got Florida on Saturday. I think Florida's ranked 7th in the country. So, it's
yes and no. Florida is rated really high, but the way I understand it, because I heard it on the radio on the way home, Florida has lost, like, their last 2 or something ridiculous like that.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see what they're rated.
Yeah, because they're rated really high. They're a great program.
5th in the country.
Yeah, anytime you got Billy Donovan, it's a great program. But they are losers of the last 2, which is just crazy. They lost on Monday to Florida State, 66-83, and then they just lost to the Lobos, or Loyola Chicago Lobos tonight, which that's one of those ones I couldn't predict. The Florida State, okay, that's their kind of crosstown shootout, basically. But, shoot to lose to Loyola. And then, of course, now we're playing them, and then after us, they're playing at Clemson. So, whew. So, UC is definitely going to get their best efforts during the Jimmy V event. And then, like you said, so we got Florida, and then we got Mississippi State, UCLA. So we got 3 in a row that are going to be really tough.
Yeah, I think going into this 3-game stretch, I don't think it's asking too much to believe they're going to win all 3 games. But, man, this Florida game worries me a little bit. I'm not sure that UC can run with them. We're going to learn something. We're going to learn a lot about this team, whether or not they're able to bounce back from a disappointing loss. And we'll see how they do. It's going to be a dogfight. I mean, Florida they are 68th in points per game and 47th in opponents' points per game. So UC should be able to score a little bit on them. And then hopefully UC can hold them down. I mean, UC's defense, even after that game on Saturday, they're still 7th in the country defensively.
Oh, yeah.
It's can they score? I think I saw Florida's given up like 77 points a game. UC on here is scoring 74. So we shall see if they can do it. I just looked. Loyola put 65 up on them tonight, and they only scored 59 against them. So, I mean, that was a 6-point loss to Loyola, and I think it was at Florida. So, man, that actually makes me a little nervous because, I mean, Florida's going to come out pissed off.
I was going to say let them come out pissed off because that's actually not just 2 in a row. I was thinking it was only 2 in a row. I just looked up, scrolled up a little bit. Actually 3 in a row. So they lost Sunday, but then again, that's really close games back to back to back. So they lost Sunday to Duke on the 26th. Then they lost to Florida State. Then they lose to Loyola, whatever. Yeah, wow. Yeah, so I mean, the odds of them losing 4 in a row just doesn't sound right. So you're right. They're going to definitely give UC their best shot.
Right. So we'll see. And their coach, it's not Billy Donovan. It's Mike White is their coach. Billy Donovan went to Oklahoma City. So we'll see what he can do with.
I did totally forget about that. You're right.
Yeah. We'll see what Mike White can do and get him ready. He was, he's mad. His post-game comments, he says it wasn't a surprise to myself and my staff that it happened against, that they didn't score. He said it happened to us against New Hampshire, and tonight it was just on a higher, more talented level, and that's actually after the Florida State game. That's not after tonight's game. So, we'll see what happens. I just, college kids, man, you never know what you're going to get as far as whether shots fall or not. So hopefully Saturday, Florida's shots continue not to fall, and UC starts making some. So.
Well, before we leave the men's team, of course, we got to talk about how the game's going to be an easy win, the UCLA. Clearly, since there's no ball on the team anymore. They're no longer in the ball business, UCLA said.
Yeah, we'll see. They're still 7-1. They score 90 points a game.
No, they are.
So they're number 1
he wasn't going to play
in the
much
country.
Anyway, so it didn't really matter.
No. Yeah, exactly. They're number 1 in the country scoring. UCLA is. So that game's going to be fun because UC holds people to about 74 points a game, and UCLA scores 90. So we'll see which one wins.
Yeah, I could see that. It's going to be probably low 80s, that kind of thing. Should be a close game between the two. I mean, UC, like he said with Eric, I mean, if their depth, if they're playing the right way, if their team, is, if they're rotating well, they should be able to stop them. But, like you said, UCLA has just had such a good offense this year. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a game that if UC can keep it in the 70s, they win. because UCLA's given up just about 75 points a game, which is right about what UC is scoring. So if they can keep that game in the 70s, I think they win. It gets into the 80s, it's going to be dicey.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. So they just need to keep it low and keep there's Mike trying to call in. I'll have to call him back. But yeah, they just need to keep the defense, keep the intensity, and it should be good.
Yeah.
Now, of course, let's talk about the real Crosstown Shootout. Because, as UC fans, clearly we don't care about the men's game. It's not important. It's a secondary thing. Let's talk about the real Crosstown Shootout, the women. The women got the big game on Sunday. So I think they're 5 o'clock, actually.
All right.
They got some good things going on, playing Xavier. They're 6-3 right now. Coming off some big wins against Southeast Missouri State University, which is weird that they have state and university in the same whatever, and Old Dominion. So yeah, they're going to be playing Xavier at 5 o'clock over at Xavier this year.
Okay.
So definitely fans, if you're a UC fan, tickets are going to be very reasonably priced. I think they're like $10 for adults, $5 for kids. Go on over there, support the team. It's something to do on a Sunday. The Bengals. I
was just getting ready to say, other than watching the Bengals, good Lord.
Yeah. So if your two choices are live sports or the Bengals, you know what? Why not? And they're very talented young ladies. Their game with this, it should be a very competitive game. Should be a good game. Both Xavier and UC have some talented women's players, as opposed to in, oh my God, that is ridiculous. They're coming to St. Ursula's Academy. That is insane. Sorry, I was looking at the schedule. On the following Sunday, the 17th, which I want to go to that actually really bad, just to see the other team, Ohio State.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was going to say, shoot, if you do like basketball, and I know, a lot of our fans are like Mike, our the boss, who's like, doesn't care about women's sports. If you want to see some good basketball, it doesn't matter about the genders. Ohio State's women's team is really good. And
they're top 10, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they're having the finals in that area in Ohio State, because they've earned the right. I mean, plus it is just a really nice venue. But that is a team that you should go see. I mean, seriously, it's going to be St. Ursula's Academy. It can be nice and up and close, to the court. And, I mean, that's just going to be a great atmosphere. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm optimistic about the score. Even though Anna Owens 2 years ago did surprise us and score 35 against Ohio State. So, things can happen and make it interesting. But that is one. So actually, there's two big games that the UC fans need to go see. They need to go this Sunday over to Xavier and wear red, and be loud. And then, of course, the next Sunday, go to St. Ursula's. Don't wear red, because that would be really weird if we all had red on. And maybe wear black that day. And actually, that might be appropriate, unfortunately. But both of them are kind of midday on Sunday. Kind of a nice thing to do, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You already went to church. You're already done, all your other errands for the day. And something nice, to do with the family.
Yep.
Excellent. And then, with those games getting out at reasonable times, because basketball's, about 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So 7, maybe swing by the Festival of Lights. Just make a day of it with the family.
Mm-hmm.
So, that actually really does sound nice. So any other big UC news?
No, not really. Football season, they're continuing to recruit. I check them out on Twitter. I'm following them there, and Luke's talking about who he's recruiting and trying to get people to buy in to his system. I did see an interesting question. I don't remember who it was asked to. It might have been to Mo Egger, and somebody asked, do we think this is going to be a situation where Luke Fickell is going to be able to get his guys in, do well, win, and leave, or he gets 2 more years and doesn't, cut it and gets kicked to the curb? And Mo, like I think, said, that he's going to win. He's going to win, and he'll be gone. But it's going to have to be him getting his guys in and having them buy into the system.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm okay with that. That, he comes in, win a couple years, and then he leaves. You know what? That's okay. Because it sure in the heck beats the alternative of us thinking for the next God knows how many years. But, they got a really cool picture at the bottom of the UC website. Shows the new Fifth Third Arena coming 2018. It looks amazing. I mean, it's all the specialty areas and just the seating. It looks really nice. So, fans, I definitely recommend you, of course, check out the UC athletic website. And there's a really nice picture on there. Actually, see if it has any more cool stuff with that. See.
Cool.
Yeah, it goes into about, UC's history and about how they're coming back in 2018 in their own home. And it looks really nice. They did an excellent job. But then again, the Bearcats usually do an excellent job. There's more pictures of, what they've got planned for the concourse area and the luxury suites, and it looks amazing. So that's going to be nice.
Very cool.
So, definitely. So for MyBookie.ag, the Growing Truth Radio Network, UC Bearcats on the Prowl, James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster, wishing you all the best of holiday seasons.